Okay, I'd like to talk really quickly about copying and pasting in a spreadsheet versus using what's called the fill handle, which I'll get to in a second. So if you have some information in a spreadsheet, perhaps it's the days of the week or something like that, so I say Monday, Tuesday. If I wanted to continue that and copy it and paste it, now copying is as simple as Control C. Pasting would be Control V. If you're on a Mac, you use Command instead of Control. We also know how to right click and say copy or paste. And of course, you can go to your edit menu and copy and paste. So it's the same as most other programs, and you should really learn to use the keyboard to speed things up for you. In a spreadsheet, when you copy something, it will highlight with a checked line to show you what you've copied. And when you go to paste it, it will just simply paste that same item in over and over as many times as you paste it. But spreadsheets are actually pretty smart, and I want to show you something really cool. It's called the fill handle, and it's this square in the bottom right-hand corner of the highlighted cell. Now, you're about to be amazed. So I'm going to highlight Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag down using that fill handle, and watch what happens when I let go of the mouse. It filled in all of the days of the week for me. And spreadsheets are pretty smart. They'll even follow patterns if they can. So if I say 1, 2, and 3, if I copy that and I just try to paste it down, it literally just pastes an exact copy of it. But instead of copying it down, if I use the fill handle and I drag that down, it'll follow that pattern for me. It even follows patterns like counting by twos and stuff like this. So if I say 0, 2, 4 and I use the fill handle and I drag it down, it'll continue that pattern. It does it with all sorts of things. Time of day, month of the year. You really should just play around with it. It's kind of a lot of fun to see what this fill handle can do. And it doesn't only have to fill to downward. It can fill to the right or to the left or even up. That's not a problem either. Now, the differences that you can do when you're copying and pasting is pretty important. So if I've got this word Monday and I'm going to bold it, I'll change the font to 12 and maybe I'll center it or something like that. When you copy and you paste into another location, it's going to paste an exact copy of it. But there are other ways to paste, and that's where right-clicking or using your edit menu really comes into play here. And this is this paste special. You really should just play around with these and learn what they do. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but the one that's really powerful is paste values only, or Control-Shift-V, Command-Shift-V if you're on a Mac. When you use paste value only, it will only paste the value in that cell. For this particular one, it's the word Monday. So if I come over here and I paste special value only, it only copied the word Monday. But if I wanted my Wednesday to be the same format as my Monday, what I can do there is I can copy the formatting. And there's even a format painter here that'll let you do that, but I'm going to show you how to use paste special to do it. So I'm going to copy my Monday and I'm going to right click and say paste special on Wednesday, paste the format only. And it didn't change it to Monday, it just copied the formatting from this cell to that cell. So that's really powerful. Now let's take a look at what that fill handle does for formulas versus copy and paste and all this other stuff. So I've just got some pretend data here. So let's say I wanted to get the product of my x and my y. So I would say equals 2 times 1. So I've got a formula in here. So if I change these numbers, the formula updates for me. Now I'm a bit lazy and I don't want to have to put that formula and type it in every single time. So what I can do is I can copy that formula. I can highlight all the cells that I want to have that formula, even the formula itself doesn't matter, and I can paste. And when I paste that in, it gives me my formula updated to be the new cell locations. So it's very smart in that regard. The fill handle will do the exact same thing. So if I grab my 16 and I fill it down using the fill handle pull, I'll get that. If I wanted to get the sum of this column, I can say sum. I can get my data and say sum. And I'm a little bit lazy, so I'm just going to drag that over. And so you can see that that works in all sorts of different scenarios. Now, in the scenario I just showed you on the left, when I dragged it down, it worked nicely because it knew that it was going to be C3, D3, and then C4, D4. Well, what I have here is I have a single price and a bunch of quantities. I'm going to drag down this total, and we're going to see what happens. I got a bunch of zeros. Now, why did I get a bunch of zeros? Well, I got a bunch of zeros because it thinks I'm trying to multiply H3 times G3. It thinks that the price is being dragged down as well. So I have two choices here. I can copy the price into all of the different boxes down here so that it fills it in nicely. But I'm going to show you a really cool trick. This gets a little bit complicated, but it's not too bad. You can tell a formula to not modify a column or a row. So if I know for a fact that I'm always going to be multiplying, the purple is the G2 here. If I know I'm always going to be multiplying by $1.79, or in this case G2, specifically in row 2, I can put a $sign in front of that 2 for my first formula. And now when I copy and paste or drag that formula down, it is only ever going to be multiplying times G2. Now watch when I go to the next and the next and the next and the next, it's all G2. And the $sign says to keep it at that instead of using what's known as a relative reference. Okay, so that's copying and pasting in 5 minutes or less. Actually, it's slightly more than 5 minutes, but there you go.